Don't you hate it when you finally feel like you're getting better from depersonalization? Weeks go by with minimal DP symptoms. You don't fear depersonalization as much, and even you're hopeful about getting going into recovery, and then suddenly you get hit with a bout of depersonalization. You go through all the same feelings and symptoms, and you experience all those fears again. This is what's known as a setback. And in this video, we'll be talking what a setback is, how to navigate a setback, and how it relates to your recovery. So let's jump in. Hello, this is Swamy from A Coach Called Life, and today in this video we're going to be talking about what setbacks are. For anyone who's going through depersonalization, you know that recovery from depersonalization seems like 2 steps forward and 1 step back. So I've divided the whole recovery process into 2 basic phases. So the first phase is called the up cycle, and the second phase is called the down cycle. In the up cycle, you'll notice that the depersonalization symptoms can be low. Meaning that their intensity can be low. You might even feel like normalcy is returning to your life again, and you start feeling hopeful. You might even feel like you're going to recover in the near future, and you probably go out to meet some friends, and you do the things that you were inhibited from doing before. And it almost feels like recovery is just around the corner, and you wake up feeling a lot less depersonalized. You're able to go out and be in the world and not get startled by derealization, and it's a very powerful healing phase during depersonalization, and this is what's called an up cycle. But then what happens is a week goes by like this, and then suddenly you get out of nowhere get hit with all the depersonalization symptoms and fears, and you start to question, like, what's going on? Was that even recovery? Am I even recovering? You start to question whether you are even getting better, because now you seem to be going down. Every day you wake up feeling depersonalized. Every day you feel like the old fears are returning to you, and you feel startled and confused, and you don't know what's going on. And you don't know if things are going to be worse this time around. This is what I call a down cycle. So a setback is when you are going from an up cycle to a down cycle. First off, I want to say that setbacks are common during your recovery process. In fact, there's very few people who just experience recovery and depersonalization without any setbacks. It's part and parcel of the recovery process. A lot of people think that recovery from depersonalization looks like this, like a graph that's just going straight from suffering to full recovery without any up or down, when in fact, recovery looks more like this. It's fraught with ups and downs. It's fraught with challenges. It's never a smooth, straight line from suffering to recovery. And I want you to understand this. So you are going to be going through ups and downs during your recovery. As I've said, it's always 2 steps forward and 1 step back. So prepare your mind for this journey. So here's something that really helped me during setbacks in my recovery process. So when I was going through an up cycle, what I would do is I would enjoy that time. It really doesn't matter what it's not that important what you do in your up cycle, right? Of course, go out and enjoy your time and have some fun, because this is a break that you're getting from all the depersonalization that you've been feeling. But more importantly, what matters is that what you do during your down cycle. So when you are going through your down cycle, recognize it. Recognize that it's a down cycle that you're going through, and that is just a cycle. Just as you go down, you will be coming up later on. And so recognize that, and don't start to lose all the hope that you've built up during your up cycle. What really helped me in this process was journaling, right? So when I was going through depersonalization, I would journal, and when I was going through an up cycle, I would write down. I would write down how great my day was. I would write down about how the intensity of DP symptoms were low, and how much of life that I could enjoy. And I would also write something to my future self who is going through a down cycle. So I would write something like, hey, if you're reading this and if you're going through a down cycle, just recognize that you're going through a down cycle right now, and know that the upcycle is just around the corner. Don't start to lose hope. And then I would just put all of the good parts about the upcycle to just give an indication to the person, which is me, who's when I'm going through the down cycle and I'm reading this journal again, I wanted me to remember like how that, you know, how upcycle was like, and I didn't want myself to lose track and get confused and get lost in that confusion of the down cycle, because that's what happens when you go through a down cycle. You get lost again, you get confused, you feel like you've never recovered, that upcycle was just a dream that never really happened, you know. So you gotta put that down in paper or in writing, you know, and let yourself know that during down cycle that this is also just a phase, that this will just pass, you know, and you will get your upcycle back again and things will start moving up slowly. And that's what I did. Like, you know, I used my journal to remind myself that not all hope is lost. Another way that the journaling helped me was when I was going through a down cycle, I would not just go and read about, you know, the break that I had during the upcycle and know that another upcycle is just around the corner, but I would also just, you know, write down and like vent my feelings out, vent my frustration out. This really helped me, because when you're just filled with frustration and fear just in your head, it could get just like, you know, things can get really clogged up, and it helps to just purge them down in the form of writing. So I highly recommend journaling if you're having setbacks, and in general for recovery from depersonalization. When you're starting on the path to recovery from depersonalization, that is, if you've been following the guidelines that I've outlined in my channel and in my blog, which is basically understanding what's happening to you, accept and surrender to these feelings and symptoms and not fight them, and make the necessary changes in your life. So if you've been following these guidelines, you'll see that you get breaks during your recovery. You know, for someone who experiences depersonalization chronically, they will see that there's like 1 or 2 hours where they get a break, you know, where the intensity of these symptoms are low. Sometimes they even forget that they have depersonalization and they're engrossed in something else, right? And this is great, you know, this is a small upcycle, this is a break. So during early recovery process, what happens is that your breaks are shorter, like, you know, your upcycles are shorter, and then your down cycles are longer. But if you keep following these guidelines, if you keep doing, you know, if you stop resisting these feelings, and if you embrace the discomfort, and if you embrace the depersonalization feelings and keep going towards them while making changes in your life to straighten out the imbalances in your life, what happens is that you will see that the upcycles grow longer and longer, you know. Meanwhile, the down cycle is getting shorter and shorter. So this is a clear sign of recovery. And sometimes, you know, you'll see that, oh my God, 2 weeks have gone by and I haven't even thought about depersonalization. I can't believe I'm going out and enjoying my time with friends, and I feel like I'm getting my life back again. And then you'll have like 1 or 2 days of depersonalization. But because you've gone through this whole process many times before, like, you won't lose hope. You won't lose your faith in this process. You'll know that, oh, okay, this is just a down cycle that I'm going through, and another upcycle is just around the corner, so I will just have to bear with this. You know, I've gone through this many times before, so I'm just going to go through the motions. And, you know, like the down cycle will keep getting shorter and shorter, and then eventually, you know, it'll just be minuscule, and you will mostly have an upcycle and reduction in your DP symptoms. Well, that's it, guys. I hope that was informative. I hope you understand what setbacks are, and I hope I've given you some information on how to navigate them. And until my next video, I wish you well, and good luck with your success from depersonalization. I know it's hard, I know what you're going through, I've been through the same, and I read your comments and I understand your pain and your frustration, but there is hope. You will recover. You know, many people have recovered from this. So keep the hope high and embrace the setbacks. You know, they're part of recovery. All right, I'll see you soon. Goodbye.